We're going to start off just for a moment. I have a few studio announcements as you join us, or maybe you're going to watch in a little bit. Let's start with the studio announcements. Big exciting news is that we will resume classes at the studio space that we've all been missing this Friday, actually. Friday morning, 9 o'clock, appropriately, Jolynn will be leading a group of 8 people. So obviously things have shifted and changed in all of our worlds, and how we run things at Namaste will be different. We are asking you have to sign up for classes online or communicate. Well, really, please sign up online. The Mind Body app is available, and it's really actually not that hard to do once you get used to doing it. Like so many things, like me teaching to Facebook Live. I've learned how to do it. I can come down here pretty quickly and get it going. You can get your mind body on very quickly too. So classes start on Friday, and we're offering 2 classes a day. We are maxing out the classes at 8 in order to provide that social distancing that we all need to still be mindful about. You'll need to wear your mask when you come into the studio, and we'll guide you to the spaces to keep things as safe as we possibly can. And there's a lot of things, a lot of thought that's gone into all of this reopening, and hopefully you've looked on Facebook or you've looked on the Namaste website to see the guidelines that we've put into place so that we can open. So you're going to need to sign up for classes. The schedule is going to be different, obviously, because we only have 2 classes that we are offering to start off with. I'll be teaching Tuesday mornings at 9 instead of 9:30, and then I'll also be teaching Wednesday at 5:30 like I have been doing for so many years. So I'm hoping to see some of you there. The 2 classes that I teach are, for now, are going to be slow flow classes, and we wanted to offer an option of classes where everyone's required to wear a mask throughout the class. So that might impact how you feel about joining again, but we just felt like it's an appropriate class because hopefully we won't get too sweaty. The other classes will require you to wear a mask until you get into your the space of your mat, but we're going to just try it and see how we do with the mask required classes. So, and you know, give us your feedback. We're always looking for that. And give us your feedback anyway, because honestly, if you decide that you need to practice at home, we are looking into keeping some online options. It won't be through Facebook Live. It will either be through the Mind Body app, and then there's another, Vimeo is another way that we're trying to navigate that. And maybe we're probably going to try and offer opportunities for students to practice both those ways. So that's studio announcements. Oh gosh, look who's there. Hi Bob. Hi Barb. Good to see you all. Okay, so let's start off in child's pose. Sound good? Child's pose, you know what to do. You'll come down to hands and knees. Take your knees out wide. Bring your big toes together. And settle your hips heavy over your heels. There's a Sanskrit word I'd like you to sort of meditate on as you rest in child's pose. And the word is Shanti. The word is translated as peace. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Whatever it is that brings you to the mat this evening, I hope that you are able to find a space where you're practicing with a sense of peace, whether it's peace for the shapes of the poses that you're discovering, or it's just peace for finding a moment of stillness, or maybe as we move through the twists and turns of our practice, you find peace with being okay with where you are. Nobody gets to define that for you. You have to do it yourself. And then once you've found that space, that place where you feel okay with where you are, can you breathe into a sense of peace about it? Feel the breath as it moves all the way down the length of your spine. And feel that heaviness in your hips as they drop back towards your heels. Use any props that you need to make it feel better for you. And then whenever you're ready, you'll lift up and come into a tabletop pose, bringing your knees right underneath your hips, your wrist creases underneath your shoulders. Find that nice balanced tabletop where your shoulders hug onto your back and your core gets nice and strong. And then as you exhale, reach your belly up towards the ceiling and make your way into a cat stretch. Use your inhale, drop into your chest and find your cow. And then just using your breath, find cat and cow back and forth, nice and rhythmically. And we'll come back into the center, that neutral space. Take your left hand, bring it one handprint forward. We'll thread the needle. Reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Feel that right shoulder come up over the left. And then reach the right hand underneath the left arm. Bring the right shoulder to the floor. Walk your left fingertips forward. Hug your belly in towards your spine. And just breathe here. Feel that left shoulder coming over the right as you push down into the left fingertips, twisting from the belly. And then we'll take that left hand, bring it back, rinse the right shoulder out, reach the right arm up, release the right hand to the floor. Let's do it on the opposite side. So the right hand comes forward one print, reach the left arm up, thread the left arm underneath the right, and bring that right hand forward so you're up on your fingertips, and breathe into the space of your twist. And we'll come back to center. Take the right hand back, rinse out the left shoulder, up towards the ceiling. Good, and then bring the left hand down. Bring the right hand forward. Left arm comes up. Reach the left arm underneath the right. Reach the right arm forward, coming up onto your fingertips. Now, if it feels comfortable and you're balanced, take your right arm up to the ceiling and reach your right hand behind your left hip. Feel the right shoulder opening. Feel your breath. The right hand reaches back to the mat. Rinse out the left shoulder. And release the left hand to the floor. Let's do the same thing on the opposite side. Left hand comes up. Right arm reaches up. Thread the right arm underneath the left. Bring the right shoulder to the floor. Walk the left fingertips forward. Come up onto the fingertips. Good. And then if this feels good, stay here. If you want to explore a little deeper into the twist, reach that left arm up and reach behind your right hip. Feel the left shoulder opening over the right. Feel the strength of your core holding you. Now we'll bring the left hand back down to the mat. Rinse out that right shoulder. And release the right hand to meet the left. Come into simple cat-cow stretch. And come to neutral. All right, let's come into a seated pose now. Hopefully we open up the shoulders a little bit. Bringing yourself up onto a blanket or a block or anything to give your hips a little more height. I'm going to rock from side to side. Good. Stack the spine so you're sitting up nice and tall. And bring your hands to heart center. Close your eyes for a moment. Perhaps go back to that mantra of peace. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And then slowly begin to open your eyes and float your hands out wide. Tent the fingers. Allow your spine to get nice and long. Good. And then reach the arms up and overhead. Good. And exhale. Take your arms out wide. Good. Reach the arms up and overhead. And exhale. Take your hands out wide. One more time. Float your arms up and overhead. On the exhale, take your hands out wide. Snuggle your shoulders onto your back. Keep your shoulders square. Take your right arm across the front of your chest. Take your left hand up on the right shoulder area. Keeping the shoulders square, keeping the belly square. Give a little bit of a tug so you feel that stretch across the shoulder blades. Good. So more on the arm than way up high. Yeah, so I guess you call that the upper arm. Good. Breathe as you feel a little more space coming. And then release and go the opposite way. Take the left arm across the chest. Take the right hand. Gently pull the shoulders. So we're just using that arm for a little bit of leverage to find that space that we were really stretching just a second ago in that twisted pose. Now we're not so much twisted, we're just finding space. Inhale, come back, take your arms out wide, snuggle the shoulders onto the back, line your head up at the top of your spine. Hug your belly in. Now, notice where your belly button is. Go ahead and twist from the belly button and bring your right shoulder forward, your left shoulder back. Your arms are going to move with the shoulders, but I'd like it to be about moving and twisting the spine, not about moving the arms so much. And then inhale and come back to center. Make sure your head's at the top of the spine. Twist and go in the opposite direction. Inhale, come back to center. Good. 2 more times in each direction. Making sure that the twist is from the belly. Good, and then inhale, come back to center. Float your arms up and overhead. Take that right hand to the opposite knee. Take the left hand behind your hip. Inhale and lengthen your spine. On the exhale, twist to your left. Inhale out. Let your breath guide you. On the inhale, your spine gets long. As you exhale, you deepen into the twist. Inhale, come back up and go the opposite way. Finding that sense of peace as you work your way into the space. Not struggling for that to happen, just letting it come. Inhale, come back up to center, reach tall. Good, and then from your belly, twist again. Take the right hand over to the left knee. Take the left hand either behind you, or you could actually take the left hand and reach for your right hip. Maybe you're not going to get there, but maybe you'll find a little more space. Keep the left shoulder soft, and remember the twist is starting from the belly, and you'll use your right hand for leverage. Inhale, come back up, go the opposite way. Take that right hand, reach for your left hip if that's comfortable. Keep the shoulders soft, keep the neck long. And we'll come back to center, float your arms up and overhead, and then exhale, release your hands. Come back into tabletop. Take that blanket, scooch it out of your way. We're in tabletop, knees underneath the hips, wrist creases underneath the shoulders, hands a little broader than the shoulders. Exhale into cat. Inhale through to cow. 2 more rounds at your pace. And come back to center. Step your right foot up to your right hand. Slide your left knee back behind your hip. Sometimes it's nice to put the blocks nearby so that you don't have to reach for them. All right, so you've got your right knee directly over your right ankle. You've got your left knee behind your hip. Inhale, float up, coming up into your low lunge, lifting the heart. Reach your hands for the blocks. Switch sides. Take the right knee back. Bring the left knee or the left foot forward. Right knee is behind the hip. Float the arms up. Soften the shoulders away. Heart's lifted. Breath is steady. Just breathing and finding that space where you feel comfortable in your low lunge. Where you feel connected. All right, hands back to the blocks. Switch the left knee back, bring the right foot forward. Again, the left knee is behind the hip, the right knee is over the ankle. Rise up, reach your arms up and overhead, and soften your shoulders away from your ears. Lifting up through the heart. Take your left hand forward, take your right hand back. You'll twist to your right. And remember, it's about twisting from the belly, not so much about bringing the left hand forward and the right hand back. Those things just happen. Keep the right knee weight bearing over the ankle. Float the arms up and overhead. Soften your shoulders. Release your hands to the blocks. Right knee comes back. Left foot comes forward. Right knee comes back to an angle. Float on the breath. Reach the arms up and overhead. Good. Full breath in, full breath out. Now add the twist, opening to your left, bringing the right shoulder in front of the left. Keep breathing. Good. Full breath in. Let it go. One more round of breath here. Good. Now reach your arms up and overhead. Release your hands to the blocks. Take the left knee back. Bring the right foot forward. Slide the left knee back. Another low lunge, all right? Rise up. Good. Now, stretch long through the left side. Drop your right hand so it's resting next to your right hip. Reach to your right. Feel that stretch along the left side of the body. Take the outside of the left arm to the outside of the right knee. Bring your palms together in prayer position. And then roll your right shoulder over your left, turning your nose, or turning your fingers towards your nose. Breathe into the space of this twist. Feeling and noticing what you're feeling. Release, and we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So the right knee comes back, the left foot steps forward. Make sure that right knee is at an angle. Reach the arms up and overhead. Drop that left hand next to the left hip. Reach, reach, reach through the right side so you feel the side of your the right side of your body gets really long, and then you'll place the outside of the right elbow. Maybe you can even take your upper arm and bring it in against the left leg. Hands come into prayer position, then bend the elbows, turn the fingertips towards the nose as you stack your left shoulder over your right. Still breathing. And release your hands to the blocks. All right, Judy, sorry. Gonna do a plank tonight. I gave you a break on Saturday, right? Take the left leg back to meet the right. We're in a plank pose, and then we'll lift up into downward facing dog. Knees and elbows are a little bit soft. Shoulders snuggle onto the back. Pull forward into a plank pose. Lower down to your knees. Keeping your elbows next to your body, lower your chest halfway. And then come all the way through, come into a cobra. Tops of the feet flat on the floor. Drag your hands back as you pull your heart forward. Just floating here on the breath, keeping the neck nice and soft. Inhale, lift up, downward facing dog. Look in between your hands, walk or hop your feet forward. Coming into Uttanasana, keep your knees super bent. Come halfway up. Take a breath, push into your feet, rise all the way up. Exhale. Half forward fold. Take a breath, reach for your blocks, bring them underneath your fingertips. Push down into both feet. Inhale, rise up, reach your arms up and overhead. Hinge at the hips, bring the head forward, push the hips back, keep the knees soft. Reach for the blocks. Good. Full breath in, full breath out. Push down into your feet. Inhale, rise up, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale. One more half forward fold. Extending long through the top of the head. Push down into both feet. Inhale, rise up, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, take your hands to heart center. Look down at your feet. Make sure the feet are pointed forward from the middle of the ankle to the second toe. Good. All right, now bend your knees and send your hips back. Keep your heart lifted. Hug your belly as you drop your tailbone to the floor. Lift your heart up towards the ceiling. Push down into the soles of your feet. So it's almost like you're dragging your mat, shredding your mat with your feet. So you feel not only your feet on the floor, but you feel almost like your hips are pushing away from one another. That's how active your legs are. Your core is so strong that your heart can lift up. And your gaze is really steady here. Keep breathing. It's always a good idea. And then lift your hips, drop your head, drop your hands. Dangle here in whatever variation of forward fold feels good to you. Push down, rise all the way up. Reach your arms up and overhead. Good. Exhale, take your hands through to heart center. Take a breath as you lift your heart up towards your thumbs. Bend your knees, drop back into chair pose again. Good. Now this time we'll take the outside of the left arm and rest it on the outside of the right leg. Take your right hand to your right hip. So you feel like your left hip and your right hip are about the same distance from the floor. Keep that as you roll your right shoulder over your left. And again, it's important that you just keep your breath nice and peaceful. Try not to over struggle with it. Your legs are that active again, so you're shredding the mat with the legs. Drop your head, lift your hips, dangle in your forward fold. Push into your feet. Inhale, rise up. Good. Exhale, back into chair. Take the outside of your right arm to the outside of your left leg. Left hand is on the hip. Push down into the hip as you roll the left shoulder over the right. Hey, Josiane. Good to see you. Let's just keep breathing here together in the space of our chair pose. Release your head, release your hands, forward fold. Push down, rise all the way up, reach your arms up and overhead. Good. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Take a breath, look down, make sure your feet are still pointing forward. Good. So I've offered you two different variations of chair. The first chair was the just straight up old-fashioned chair. The second chair was chair with a twist with the arm. The third chair we're going to come into a prayer pose as we're doing chair. So you'll sink back into chair. If the bus stop came early for you, please feel free to get off at that stop. Hug the legs. Take your left arm, reach long. Take it to the outside of the right leg. Hands come together in prayer. And then we'll bring the right elbow up as we push the palms towards each other, rolling the right shoulder over the left. Keep breathing into the space of your twist. Dropping back deeper into the hips, strengthening your core. Remember, the legs are shredding at the mat. Lift your hips, drop your head. Push down, rise up. Good, reach your arms up and overhead. Soften the shoulders. Let's come into chair the opposite way. So hips will stay square. Take the outside of the right arm to the outside of the left leg. Bring the palms together. Come up into your twisted prayer. Twisted chair prayer. There you go. Twisted chair prayer. Keep those hips nice and square. Keep breathing nice and even. All right, lift your hips, drop your head. Uttanasana, forward fold. Push down into your feet. Inhale, rise up, reach your arms up and overhead. Good, take your hands back to heart center. You're still gonna want your blocks in front of you. Step your left foot back and railroad your feet. So the blocks will be a good guide for you. Your hip bones are gonna be about parallel to your blocks. Bring the left hip forward. The left toes should be turned to 10:30. The right toes are pointed right to noon. All right, hands to the hips. Bend your right knee forward until it comes over your ankle. So if you need to widen your stance, or I'm sorry, this way, back and forth, not so much side to side, go ahead and do that. Because you don't want your right knee to be going past the ankle. You want your right knee to weight bear down into the right ankle. And then float on the breath, reach your arms up and overhead. Soften your shoulders. Coming into your warrior one stance. Kiss the tips of the shoulder blades towards each other. Bring the tailbone to the floor. You feel your core get a little stronger. All right, let's take our hands back to heart center. Straighten into the right leg. Bringing the hips super square to the front of the mat, and then pushing back into your hips, bring your chest forward, reach for those blocks, bring your fingertips to the blocks, but first engage the strength of the legs and the core, and then from there, keep the hips pushing back, let your head fold over the right leg. You can drop the blocks. You could actually reach down towards the floor if that feels good to you. Keep your hips working together. Keep your legs working together. So again, you're shredding at the mat. That's how strong your feet are. And then there's this lightness in the head. Okay, push into the right foot. The left foot comes up. Let's do the same thing on the opposite side. So we'll come all the way up. We'll step the right foot back. So it's a little bit longer or wider than walking distance, and you'll use your blocks to guide you as to how far you want your feet, okay? About hip distance. It's not a balance beam, right? It's a railroad track. Right toes are gonna be turned out to about 130, and then you'll bring your left knee, so it's weight bearing over the ankle, hands to the hips, so you root down into the hips, you weight bear that left knee over the left ankle, and you float your arms up and overhead. Soften your shoulders and bring your belly in towards your spine. Again, we're just sort of finding peace in the space of our warrior one. And from warrior one, we'll transition by straightening into the left leg, keeping the hips square. Push back into the hips, reach the heart forward, and then release your hands to come into our runner's stretch. Folding only to a place where you feel like you're balanced. Balanced in your strength, balanced in your energy, your thoughts. Don't push it to the point where you're feeling like you're overwhelmed. All right, let's push into the left foot, bring the right foot up to meet it. Still have your blocks nearby. Push down, rise up, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, take your hands to heart center. Step your left foot as far back on the mat as you can possibly take it. Keep going, keep going. Now turn your left foot so it's parallel to the back edge of your mat. Good. All right, and then bring the right knee so it's weight bearing over the ankle. Beautiful. Hi, David. Good to see you. All right, so we've got the right knee weight bearing over the ankle. We're pushing into the outer edge of the left foot. Lift the left thigh just a little bit. Do you notice how that gives you a little more of that space in the hips? Good. Now drop into the right hip just a little bit, and your shoulders should be directly over your hip bones. So your left shoulder over your right shoulder over your left. Other way. There you go. Good. Float your arms out wide. And just breathe into the space of your warrior two. Hanging out here. Making peace with our warrior two. Okay, now the legs are going to stay as strong as they are right now. Drop your left hand, reach your right hand up. Nothing changes from the waist down. Reach through the right fingertips, spider walk your left fingertips down the left leg, and stretch from the right hip through the right finger. All 5 of them. Good. Are you feeling your legs between all of the chair poses and now this warrior? You're going to be so strong. Take your right forearm to your right knee. Float your left arm up and overhead, extending long into Parsvottanasana. Stay in that sense of peace. Push into the outer edge of the left foot. Reach to the left fingertip. Good. All right. Cartwheel your hands to the blocks in front of you. Turn your left heel up. Push into the right foot. The left foot comes up. The right leg says, thank you. Push down. Rise up. Reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale. Take your hands to heart center. Reach for your block. This time we're going to step the right foot as far back as you can possibly take it. Coming into our warrior stance on the opposite side. So you'll turn your right heel to the earth. Line yourself up. All right. Left knee, weight bearing over the ankle. If you need to make an adjustment, do it with your back foot. Let that left knee anchor into the right foot, and then you can move into the left foot. You can move the right foot if you need that space. Okay, now let's square the shoulders so they come right over the hips. So that's giving us that nice opening in the groin area. All right, and we're going to strengthen the left groin by strengthening the right. So we'll push into the right foot, hug skin to muscle to bone with that right leg. Float your arms out wide, look over the left hand. Couple rounds of breath here. Try not to grasp with your toes. Sometimes that's a thing. Not that I see anybody doing that, but maybe I'm noticing it in my own space. Okay, nothing changes from the waist down. Drop the right hand, reach through the left fingertips, and then go ahead and make your way into a reverse warrior. Come into Parzo. Feel the legs. Reach the right arm up and overhead. Extend long through the right side. Good. Turn the corners of your mouth up. We're just doing yoga. Beautiful. Cartwheel your hands to the blocks. Turn your right heel up. Step your right foot up to meet your left. Push down into both feet. Inhale. Reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale. Hinge at the hips. Take your hands to the blocks. Step your left foot as far back as you can take it. Straighten into the right leg. I'm kind of dancing around on my mat because I don't want to turn my back to you. The left foot is back. The right leg is straight. You've got your blocks here to help you. So you may even want to take 2 blocks. Not worried about if your hand can touch the floor, but I'd love it if you could be long from the right hip bone through the right armpit, and then roll your left shoulder over your right. Push into the left foot as you float your left arm up, coming into triangle pose or Trikonasana. feel the left shoulder coming over the right. So we've done lots of nice twisting tonight. Breathe and notice that space. Release your hands to the floor. Push into your right foot. Bring the left foot up to meet it. Step your right foot all the way back. And come into your, getting ready for your triangle on the opposite side. All right, so the left leg is straight. Bring the right hand to the right hip. Roll open. Good, and then feel the right shoulder coming over the left, and then just float that right arm up. Feel that space from the left hip to the left armpit. And again, if you want to drop the block, you can. If you want to stack 2 blocks, you can. Not so worried about where that left hand is, but would love to see the heart open here. Good. Exhale, release your hands. Turn that right heel up. Take a breath. Step into the left foot, the right foot comes up to meet it. Push down into both feet. Reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, take your hands to heart center. All right, so you're still facing forward on your mat. You've got your blocks out in front of you. We'll step into our warrior 1 stance. So the feet are not as wide as you can possibly take them, but they are railroaded. You can see that on the way I'm lined up, right? My right heel's directly beneath my right hip. Got the blocks in front of me. Good. My left leg is straight, like a runner stretch. Now, take your arms out wide. Good. And then go ahead and twist from your belly. Bring your right shoulder forward. Take your left shoulder back. Inhale and come back to center. Good. All right, we'll do that again. Actually, make sure you've got the block. It can be on the inside. It could be on the outside of the left leg. All right, left foot. All right, so we're going to come into that twist again. The hips are going to stay nice and square, right? Okay, now push your hips back. Reach that right arm forward, 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 forward. And then release the right hand to the block that's on either side of the left leg. So you may be like, I need the block on the inside. All right, come up onto your fingertips. Revolve triangle. Everybody loves this pose when they don't hate it. Right, hips are square. Feel the left shoulder coming over the right. Don't really care how low the right hand is. We do care that the heart's open. It's also really important that you keep breathing. Good. Exhale. Release. Oh, push into the left foot. Step the right foot back. Did I get sneaky with that one, right? Somehow, all of a sudden, we were doing revolve triangle. All right, so the feet are railroaded. Come nice and square with the shoulders. From your belly, arms come wide. We'll practice the twist. Right, so bring the left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. Inhale, come back to center. Good, and we'll do it again. We'll twist, bringing the left shoulder forward, the right shoulder back. Keeping the hips back, reach, 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 reach. And then drop the left hand. Bring the left hand below the left shoulder. Bring the right shoulder over the left. Some of you may be comfortable reaching for the block on the outside of the right leg. Keep those feet shredding the mat. So it's easy to push into the right foot when we do this. Can you push into the left foot too? Squaring the hips. Ah, release. Push into the right foot. Bring the left foot up to meet it. Push into both feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Good. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do a moment of constructive rest. Just stand here on your 2 feet with your hands at heart center and close your eyes. Think of your feet on the mat. There's a softness in the knees, There's the strength of your core. There's the shoulders resting over the hips and the ears resting over the shoulders. As you push down into your feet, you feel your head extend long towards the ceiling. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Right, open your eyes and come on down to your backs. Hug your knees into your chest and rock a little bit from side to side. You know, if you bring your knees to your chest tight, more towards your armpits, you're going to feel that poor man's massage on one part of the back. And if you straighten into your arms and push your knees against your arms, you'll feel it more in your shoulders and your sacrum. There isn't a better place to do it. It's just a matter of doing what feels good to you. Bring your feet down to the mat. Cross your right ankle onto your left knee. Push your right knee away, push your left thigh away, flex your toes back towards your knees. What are you noticing and feeling? Wrap your hands behind the back of your left leg. You can use a strap for this as well. Push your right elbow into your right knee. Hug your knee in, or your left leg in towards your chest, but then resist the left leg into the hands. Flex the toes back towards the knees. Melt the shoulders to the floor. Release your feet to the floor. Release your hands out into a T. And then move your hips to the right side of your mat. Let your right foot drop all the way over to the left side. And take your left hand, gently place it against the outside of the right leg. Anchor into your right shoulder. Push the knee away from the shoulder. You can add to your twist by looking over towards your left shoulder. And you'll feel a little space along the right side of your neck. And we'll release and make our way back to center. Square yourselves up on the mat. Take your left ankle, place it on your right knee. Push your left thigh away with your left hand. Push your right thigh away with your right hand. Flex the toes back towards your knees. Okay, let's wrap the hands or the strap around the back of the right leg. Flex your toes back towards your knees. And again, doing some nice hip opening here. Some of those chair poses, maybe you felt like your hips got a little tight while we were doing them. So we'll create a little opportunity for a release. And then bring the right foot to the floor. Move your hips to the left side of the mat as you take your arms out into a T. Drop the left foot over to the right. And come into the space of the twist on the opposite side. Maybe you want to take your right hand and gently pull the right or the left leg away from the left shoulder. Hey Sally, thanks for coming. Just breathing and noticing our twist. Okay, let's inhale and come back to center. Undo the legs, square yourselves up on the mat, hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. And bring your feet back down to the mat. Gently push your thighs away with your palms resting right on top of your hip bones. You'll feel that natural curve come to your low back, push down into your shoulders. Full breath in, full breath out. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Release and relax. We'll set up for Shavasana. If you wore socks into your space, you might want to slip the socks on. You have a blanket, you can put a blanket over the top of you. You could put a blanket underneath your knees. We have time for a nice restful Shavasana with the hands resting next to your sides and your heels resting on the floor. Let your toes fall away from one another. Take a breath in and let it go. Think of your big toe on the right side, and then your second toe in on the right side, and the middle toe on the right side, the fourth toe on your right side, and the pinky on the right side. And then make your way down the toes on the left side, starting with the big toe, the second toe, the third toe on the left side, the fourth toe on the left side, and the fifth toe on the left side. Take your awareness down the arch of the right foot and then the arch of the left foot. Feel the right heel heavy on the floor. Feel the left heel equally as heavy on the floor. Release the weight of the right calf and shin. Release the weight of the left calf and the left shin. Release the right knee Release the left knee. Release the right thigh and the right quad. Release the left thigh and the left quad. Release your right hip. Release your left hip. Release your belly. Release your chest. Release your shoulders. Release your right thumb, your right index finger, your right pointer, your right middle finger, your right ring finger, your right pinky. Release your left thumb, your left pointer, your left middle finger, your left ring finger, your left pinky. Release your right palm in the back of the hand. Release your left palm in the back of the hand. Release your right forearm. Release your left forearm. Release your right upper arm. Release your left upper arm. Take a full breath in down the length of your spine. Release the weight of your spine to the mat. Release your jaw. Release the space behind the back of your eyes. Release the space across the brow. Once more, take a full breath in and exhale it out. Take 2 more full breaths, moving down the length of the body. Take a full breath in, let it go. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, bend into your knees, and make your way to your right side. Curl up into a little ball as you use your arm or your blanket as a pillow. Make your way up into a seated pose. Keep your eyes closed or just gently looking down. So we started our Facebook Live journey back in the end of March. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate your sharing this experience with me. I remember how anxious I was when we first started, to turn that camera on and to trust that it was going to be okay. And it turned out that it was okay. As we transition our way back to the studio, perhaps you feel a little bit of anxiety. I feel a little bit anxious about it. I'm also excited to be back in a space that is so safe for so many of us. And as always, I thank you for allowing me to sit in the seat of the teacher. You may not know it, but this time that we've been practicing together, I'm grateful for my student who is actually in the room with me. We celebrate our 37th anniversary tomorrow. And talk about a leap of faith. 3 weeks out of college, and here we are, grandparents, practicing yoga together. Who would have thought? So we'll bring our hands to heart center. We'll find that chant once more. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.